Alright, so back at the lab, I was just working on this plan for this computer desk. So basically my top we know is going to be 48 inches by 20 inches. So it'll be 40 inches wide by 20 inches deep. And then I have my sides, which is going to be on both sides of the desk, are going to be 18 inches wide by 30 inches high. So the whole table overall is going to be 30 inches high. And then the width of it is going to be 20 inches wide. So over here, this is my cut list. I'm going to need 4 2x6s at 27 inches. And the reason they're 27 inches is because there's 1.5 inches on the top plate and 1.5 inches on the top. That gives me 3 inches, which gives me my overall height of 30. And then I need 4 2x6s at 18 inches, which is the ones that are going to go across. And then I need 2 2x4s at 35 inches, which is going to be the apron on both sides. I don't need anything to do on the edges here because this is going to be literally a square table, so there's no apron on the side. They're not 2x4 legs. So I need 2 of these boxes, and then these X bracing. And I was explaining before I got cut off that these X bracing here, I'm going to figure out after I assemble those 2 squares. And then I'll show you how I put these in together. They're going to be made out of 2x4s. So that's my tabletop plan right now. So you're going to have a solid top, and then with 2 square legs with an X brace in the middle. Simple, nothing crazy. I think it goes nice with this rustic look that I have going. So I'll get to work. So these are my cuts. Let's get those going, and then I'll show you guys as I assemble it and as I go. Alright, so I got all my cuts made. I have my 4 pieces of 2x6s, 2 pieces of 2x4s, and then the 4 pieces by that are 2x6s by 18s. So now I'm going to assemble the frames together first. I'll attach these to both ends, and then we'll work on the top. So let's get this going. Alright, so I put the 2 frames together. Those are going to be the ends of the table, one in here, and the tabletop's going to go on top of it. And then I'm going to do a bracing on the side, and I'm going to do an X bracing in the middle. So like I said, simple build. I didn't show you guys the process of doing this because there's no pocket jig. It's very, very simple. I'm about to explain it. I cut these to size, and then what I did is I got cabinet screws. They got a smaller head, and they go in, they sink in pretty deep. So that's what I used after I glued them. And then they give me pretty much a tight bond. You can see the glue's oozing out. So that means we got some clamping power here. So clean all this up before it dries on there. Either way, I got to sand it anyways. Those guys that came and changed my windshield, they stepped all over the wood. So I got to resand all this and clean it up. Anyway, so that's where we're at with these. I'm about to do the top, and then we'll work on the X braces. So for my apron here, for the edges, I pulled out my pocket jig, and I'm going to drill 2 holes on each side here. Put the other side again. 2 holes on this side as well. We'll do the same thing with the other one for the back. Drill 2 holes on each side. So I got my pocket holes drilled on both edges. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this apron on this. That'll make it look like a table. So you got to work on the top and brace the edge. Alright, so I got my apron on now. Both frames, apron, so that look like a desk. Simple, like I said. Measurements are exactly what I said they were going to be. 48. Saying 48 by, well, I have it 18 now because I'm going to have this overhang, and I'm going to have it overhang from the other side. So at the end, this table is going to be 50 by 20. Next step is to work on these X braces I told you guys about. The only thing I got to do now is first sand this on the inside, because once I put those braces in, there's no way of me sanding this. So I'm going to sand it first just to clean it up. I got the whole thing sanded down now. I'm about to work on the X braces for both sides. So I'm going to cut them to size, mark them, and then basically do the notches in them. So basically I got this piece here. I put it from the back. I marked the edges, and it's in there. It's nice and tight. Nice miters. Next step is to put the one that's going to come across, and then I got to mark them in the middle. And then what I have to do is I have to notch half of this one out and half of the other one out, and then they go into each other as an X. So the first one's in, time to mark the second. So I basically got my X cut, and not my XX, my X as in my wood X, and my X brace, I should say. So I got this in here, got the other one in here, and what I did is I marked both ends, and I did the same thing from the other side. So now I have to cut half of the distance from here and half of the distance from the other one. Once they go into each other, then we have a perfect X. So I cut them out as you seen earlier. Now just take a rubber mallet, put this right in there, nice and snug. And so far, this is the most complicated part of the whole process. Everything else was easy. Just figuring this out, because it's coming out really, really nice. Kind of like the look I was going for. And that really worked out. So there it is. All right, so now that the first side is done, I gotta go on and do the other side. I already got them cut. I just have to notch them on the inside, build the X-brace, and then go from there. All right, got the other end in, and I'm in love with the way this looks. It looks really, really farmhouse-ish. So this is the front of it. You've seen the sides already. The other side is the back, obviously. And just gotta do the top now, and then we're ready to go. Sand it down. Well, I already sanded everything down except for the top. So once the top goes on, I'll just give it a quick sanding. Make sure I round the edges over. And then we'll stain this and whitewash it, and it's ready to go. So excited. This is a little bit different than what I'm used to doing. So I wanted to try something different this time, and I love the way this came out. It looks really, really nice. All right. So got the whole thing sanded down, nice and smooth. I like this detail in it, so I left it alone. I didn't sand it down. I mean, I did. I smoothed it out, but I didn't like make it flat. So I'm ready to do the top, and I told you guys the top was just a piece of 2x12. Got the table saw there ready, so I'm gonna cut it down to size, cut the edges in the table saw, join it, and then put some glue on it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it hang over, and then I'm gonna cut the excess with the saw, with the circular saw. To make sure it's straight edge on both sides, because anytime you use that pocket jig when you're trying to do a countertop together, or like a flat piece of surface, sometimes you might get a little bit of an overhang with the other one. So this way everything will come out nice. All right, so I cut the table top with the table saw all the way around. I got everything nice and tight over here. I'm about to put some glue in the middle, screw it in with the pocket holes, then flip it upside down, give it a nice sanding, and then we should be good to go with this. All we gotta do is just stain it at that point in time. So, all right, so I got the boards glued. I got them clamped together, so gives me a nice tight bond before I put these screws in. The only thing left is put the screws through and then make sure everything is nice and tight. All right, here's a little tip for you guys. If you're trying to cut a straight edge on the edge and you don't know exactly how to get it done, get a T-square, butt it up against the level. The level is just gonna serve as a straight edge, and then clamp it on both sides and make your mark on the edge, and then that's gonna serve as a straight edge for you. When you cut it, you're gonna have a straight edge with no issue. All right, so at this point, I got the top cut to the size that I want. I put it upside down on the floor, put the legs and the base on top of it, and then I'm gonna go around with a measure tape, make sure everything is nice and square. I'll screw the base to the top, flip it over, give it a light sanding, stain it, and we're good to go. Finish sanding the whole thing. I remembered I needed to open up a hole here for the plugs, printer, computer, whatever. So all the plugs will go through there. If I got the printer underneath it, I can run the wires to it. The screen's up here, keyboard, whatever. But overall, it looks amazing. I'm about to just blow it all out, clean it up, and then get the staining. Can't wait to see what it looks like after. All right, so gave this a coat of stain. It looks phenomenal. I'm not gonna whitewash it. I think I'm gonna just leave it like this. I like the way it looks. It looks very rustic. Kind of goes with the whole farmhouse look. So I like this gray, and I think I'm just gonna keep it like that. A lot of the grain, a lot of the detail came out, so the cracks show you more now, so it made it much more nicer. So I'm just gonna leave it this color. I'm just gonna throw a couple coats of polyurethane on here, and then leave it here overnight, pick it up tomorrow morning, take it home, set up the computer on it, and then do what we gotta do. Yeah, I decided against the whitewash because we did the coffee station as whitewash. My upstairs table is whitewash, so this one I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. I like the way it looks rugged. So that's where we're at with it. I think it came out really, really nice, you guys. I love the way it looks. The video is definitely not doing it justice right now. I think it's the lighting in here and the way it looks, but in person it looks phenomenal. You can't really see the grain when I stand up, but you could see every single grain through the stain everywhere. So love it, love it. All right, give it a couple coats of polyurethane and get out of here. Go and get some sleep, and then tomorrow come pick this up and then set up everything we need to set up on it. Let me know what you guys think. If you like it, I'll save this again in my highlights, and then you can go back and take a look at it. If you want to build the same one, go for it. All right, have a good night, guys.